Mr. Gimle, what is happening? Is the picture clear? Is the man going to get to lead Nepal?
Not at the moment. It's not very clear because both the Gen Z groups and political parties, they are divided over how to go for from now. Sushila Karki's name was proposed by some groups. Then Kulman Ghising's name is there. Dr. Sanduk Ruit's name also is being mentioned by some. I think there will be more names emerging, but when they come to settle the issues after rounds of conciliation, which is still ongoing, only after that we'll get to know who becomes the prime.
But then, Mr. Gimre, Karki's name came, and then she had to pull herself aside because there was a press conference that has taken place. Now this gentleman's name has come. Though the violence on the streets of Kathmandu has died down, who is the brain behind this movement? There has to be someone.
Yeah, the brain, I think it began with a very innocuous approach, basically, setting up pages and to expose kind of corruption or lavish lifestyles in high places. That page attracted many people's concern. They started, building it as a political movement. It took that, I think even on the 8th, it was supposed to be a one-day symbolic movement. If the government's ruthless approach to suppress it, that has resulted in the death of 30 young people, this would not have happened. Now, maybe, they would have decided further program. Basically, it was because of the government's murderous approach that this situation has arisen.
Okay, Rami, you also have a Nepal connection. You are a distinguished scholar. You're personally attached to the place. What are you receiving from the ground, the signals? And what is your big picture in context of this churn that is taking place in Nepal?
Karthikeya, good evening. Yes, I do have a maternal connection to Nepal, and it's always been a country very close to my heart. And I think for most Indians, Nepal has been a country that they have known well, the people that they have got along with. So for us to see these visuals is very heartbreaking. It's also these are streets that are well known to us. These are symbols of religion, like the Pashupatinath temple, that really pull at our strings. Having said that, I will choose my words very carefully today because, finally this is an internal issue that the people of Nepal know best how to handle. But as an outsider, as an observer, I have to say this, that there are going to be many contenders for the interim government. We've seen this anywhere in the world where an interim government has to be decided. And eventually, whoever is decided is going to wear a crown of thorns, so as to say, because it's not going to be an easy road ahead to solve the kind of problems that have plagued the country for a while now. It's not just about this dispensation. The corruption charges that we have seen have been recurring charges on many, many politicians. And I think this was an outcome of the frustration that we saw, but maybe, just maybe, it may have got derailed by some unwanted elements in the protest as well as the protest continued. Looking at India's neighborhood, and of course us being in India, would keep that primary to our point of view. Looking at India's neighborhood, we've seen an interim government in Bangladesh also happen. And I think what is critical for us to understand here is that an interim government is only interim. So whatever happens in Nepal, I think the election process should come to a conclusion sooner than it has happened in our neighborhood, like in countries like in Bangladesh, where there are rumors about an election, but an election hasn't happened. And I think that creates a more complex situation for the country. Not to say that both the situations are the same, but interim government has its limitations in terms of the decisions that it can take and the kind of outreach that it can have. So I think as us being in India, we can wish and hope that there is absolute safety and peace prevails in Nepal, and an interim government comes with an agenda of elections and democracy being reinstated as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Dr. Jaiswal, your opening comments. Is there a clarity from Kathmandu, sir?
Uh, there is no clarity from Kathmandu because, as Mr. Gimre said, that there is complete chaos here. The different groups are now coming with different names. As you said, initially it was Balen, then Sushila Karki, then Kulman Ghising. New names might also emerge. So there is complete chaos at the moment because earlier these groups were just supposed to have a protest which might last for 1 or 2 or multiple days. They're not prepared for what happened all of a sudden because all that happened today is because of the state's way of tackling to the situation, which was a complete massacre on the young student, which was not well taken. So I think this is the major problem here, that no one is prepared for what is happening tomorrow. Neither the protesting parties, nor the government, nor the political parties. Everyone is so blank at the moment that they
Okay.
don't know what and how to move further. Even the international community, they don't know how to deal with that.
Okay.
So I think there is
So,
chaos. I'll not be surprised that tomorrow different groups emerge into different groups, and then they start having individual protests with their own different demands, which can be more problematic in the future, because at this at the moment we can have some control, but once different groups get divided, there will be different things altogether. I have been getting the report that the government is mobilizing more military in the center, so it shows that things are getting something very serious at the moment.
okay. Abhishek, which is the most credible institution in Nepal right now? Is it the army only? Because people have different opinions on the erstwhile monarch of Nepal. So, which is the most credible institution right now which can provide stability?
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. In my opinion, to answer your question directly, I would tend to lean towards the army, yes, because it is the oldest institution in the country. It is as old as Nepal itself. And because of its age, I do think it's also a more professional and mature organization, right? Now, Gen Z group, I mean, we can only salute them for what they managed to do. Uh, um, Having said that, it is not a well organized group. You know, it is a loose group of people who got organized essentially to protest against the social media ban, and then the things just rolled in a way that has been that is quite unimaginable, right? And as you also already noted, there's a number of people groups claiming Gen Z. So which is the real genuine Gen Z is itself questionable. And Gen Z, understandably, being a group of very young people, are not necessarily very politically educated or aware. I mean, their demands are very in line with what everyone in the country wants, but that does not necessarily mean they are very politically capable.